I am Victoria Talamantes and I'm going to talk about what is UPEC and what does it do. UPEC means International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. So UPEC is an organization that makes a lot of things in the topic of chemistry. It strives to advance chemistry, in part doing global standards in chemistry, for example making structures, units, symbols and other stuff. Nearly 1,200 things are made by UPEC in today's days, and also many other projects are involved in UPEC. UPEC is very useful because it makes chemistry easier for us.
It is important to have defined the rules to name a hydrocarbon, because rules like identify the longest carbon chain, or identify all of the substituents, or the number of the carbons of the parent chain. Those rules are important to name because if you don't follow that rules, your name or drug can be wrong.
Some of the most common hydrocarbons are methane, propane, and butane. Methane has a formula of CH4. It is the simplest alkane, and it is used as a fuel for ovens, homes, etc. Propane is a group of flammable hydrocarbons that are used as fuel. Its formula is C3H8. And butane, with its formula of C4H10, is shipped as a liquefied gas under its vapor pressure.
What are hydrocarbons? Hydrocarbons are organic compounds that are composed only of hydrogen and carbon. There are different types like saturated and unsaturated, and there are also aliphatic compounds. We have divisions like methane, methyl, ethyl, and so on. And it can be modified, and they can have single, double, or triple bonds. They can also form cycles or rings, and that's it.
Now I'm gonna tell you the type of classification based on the type of bonds in the structure. Saturated are the ones that have a single bond between the carbons, and unsaturated have double or triple bond between. An example of saturated hydrocarbons may be the alkenes, because they only have one single bond between the carbons. An alkane is a series of saturated hydrocarbons, including methane, ethane, butane, and other higher members. The first step of naming alkanes is to find the parent hydrocarbon. The parent hydrocarbon is the longest chain there. Then the step number 2 is number the atoms in the main chain. Then the step number 3 is to identify and number the substituents. Then the step number 4 is write out the name as a single word, using hyphens to separate the different prefixes and using commas to separate the different numbers. And then if 2 or more different substituents are present, you need to cite them in alphabetical order.
Hi, my name is Barbara, and today I'm going to tell you how to name simple alkenes. To name alkenes, you need to know that they're all single bonded, which means they only have one line between each carbon. These are all alkenes. If you've got a chain that's something like this, you need to know each ending is a carbon, like this one. Each line connects a carbon. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 carbons are called ethyl. Just like 1 carbon is methyl, and 2 is ethyl. Thing is, this is a common name for 7 carbons, but this one does not describe if it's a single bond, double bond, or triple bond. It just tells you how many carbons you have. Now that you've got this, you need to change this ending, which is a common ending for everyone, for this one. Which means this chain is going to be called heptane. If you've got a cycle, every cycle begins with cycle. And if you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you know you have pentatone. So it's single bond, it's 5, and it's a cycle. So cyclopentane.
My name is Joana Tomasici. I'm going to explain you what is an alkaline and how can you name it. The definition of alkanes are hydrocarbons that contains double bond.
Here we will name an alkene. First, we count the number of carbons in the longest chain. Then, we start to count from the side that is near to the double bond, and it is the left side. If we count, we have 7 carbons, so it will be an heptane. But you have double bond, so it is an alkene. So we change ane to -ine. Since the double bond starts at the second carbon, the name will be 2-heptene.
Alkynes are organic molecules made of the fraction of group called carbon-carbon triple bonds, and they are written in the empirical formula CnH2n-2. There are 5 rules in order to name an alkyne. So the first rule is to find the longest carbon chain that includes both carbons of the triple bond. Rule number 2 is to number the longest chain starting at the end closest to the triple bond. Rule number 3 states that after numbering the longest chain with the lowest number assigned to the alkyne, what we have to do is label each substituent at its corresponding carbon. Rule number 4 says that substituents with a triple bond are called alkanyls. The 5th rule says that molecules containing both double and triple bonds are called alkynyl.
Hi, my name is Daniela and I'm going to show you how to name an alkyne.
We will try this example of an internal alkyne because it has the triple bond in the middle, as you can see. First, we count the number of carbons in the longest chain. We start to count from the side that is nearest to the triple bond. There you go. In this case, it is the left side. Now we start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Remember that a 6-carbon chain has the name of hexane, but since it has a triple bond, it is an alkyne. So we only change the suffix ane with -ine. And finally, since the triple bond starts at the second carbon in the chain, the final name for this alkyne is 2-hexane. Congratulations! Now you know how to name an alkyne.
Okay, my conclusion is that I think that naming organic chemistry is really important to learn because it's what we live around and how we learn to use it at its maximum. So that way we can use less resources for more purposes and modify them to do specific things. And this is the principle to that. And I think it's really important to learn it in more dynamic ways because of the complexity of it all. And yeah.
My conclusion is that it is easy to name and draw hydrocarbons like alkanes, alkenes, alkynes, etc. When you follow the rules to name and draw one.
Well, my personal conclusion is that it's very important to use the UPEC measurements and standards so it can be easier for us to learn chemistry. And also I think that learning chemistry is very important in our daily life.
The classification and different rules for naming hydrocarbons are important because in that way you know which hydrocarbon you are using because their name identifies them and they have different characteristics, and so the name is really important.
In my final reflection, in this stage I learned a lot of things about hydrocarbons, how to name them, how to classify them, and how to identify them.